Yo, Joes and agents of Cobra Command, my name is Steve, this is GI Joburg, and today I'm delighted to be chatting to two awesome guests. First of which, it's the rap viper, Wordburglar!
Yo, it's a countdown to fun school. What? Get it? Hey, I just found him. It was like, hey, get it? His helmet doesn't
Random
stick.
figures, just really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun school for you, baby. Slightly lower grade plastic.
That's the only school I want to go to.
So, the latest greatest.
They are
is
oil. Look, he
Spinnerack.
is oil. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm derailing your intro. It's gorgeous, but you're
By
right.
all
As soon as I
means.
touched him, you could the oil in his. It's already. They are oily plastic. But I digress. I'm sure everyone out there knows Fun School Countdown. So yeah.
We're here to talk toys primarily, but we gotta bump some music, man. The latest greatest is the Spinnerack EP, and of course, for any self-respecting G.I. Joe fan, the standout track has got to be 1984. Buddy.
It's one of my faves.
Well, let's not pick favorites just yet. I mean, it is a pretty solid EP. Yeah, there's not a loser amongst those tracks. So, but the reason
Thank you,
1984
man. Thank you.
is first on our lips is because you have a killer music video to go along with it, featuring some awesome customs, and it would be criminal to not talk about them. I think this is the perfect forum for it. Wouldn't you say, Bergs?
I must agree with you, Steve.
Bergie on G.I. Joburg. It's Berg squared, baby.
I love it.
So-
I love it.
Talk about the action figures themselves. I mean, you're a dab hand at many a thing, but I think you called in an expert for this one. His name's Ozzie. Yo, buddy. Welcome.
Thanks a lot, man. Happy to be
So
here.
you're responsible for the action figures featured in the video.
Yeah, great team up with me and Wordburglar, but yeah, I created them. I made them. Yeah.
All right. Let's set the stage, boys. What is 1984's? Bergie, take it away.
Yeah, 1984. So it's a multi-skilled elite unit of super agents who are fighting for peace, and obliterating evil isn't a game. Everybody's got to have a rad code name. And this was, obviously it's a love letter to not just G.I. Joe, but toy commercials and everything about marketing to kids in the 80s and how bananas it was, but how much fun went into every individual character and toy and figure. And as a kid, my dream was to be one of the kids in those toy commercials. So now as a big kid, I was like, well, what if I made a music video that was essentially a toy commercial for the toy line of my dreams, which was 1984. And, when I thought of it, and Ozzie and I will get into it, when I first envisioned it, I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I could get like maybe one or two original custom figures. Just like one or two would be amazing. And, I thought of Ozzie, and, I've known Ozzie now for years, and I know he's just such an incredible customizer and creator of action figures. And we met through our shared love of G.I. Joe, right? Through the Joe community. Ozzie was customizing figures. I was making rhymes about G.I. Joe. We connected in so many different ways. And, I can tell, I feel like I'm describing like our, well, this is how we met, Ozzie and I. And then it was just ever since we met.
Shoe fits.
But Ozzie, yes, when was that? Because Steve, I met you around the same time, I think. It was at a JoeCon in Colorado.
Oh, it was
Yes.
the very last one in Chattanooga, buddy.
Oh, I met you in Chattanooga. Okay, but I guess I
Mm.
met Ozzie at Loveland, which was supposed to be the last one, wasn't it?
Okay. So yeah,
They dragged that corpse a couple of years, didn't they?
Yeah.
yeah. So we caught up in. It must have been Loveland then. We caught up in. I had actually made a Rap Viper custom for Sean, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna hook you up with this." And he was like, "Oh man, I can't believe that." And I was like, "Dude, that Cobra Island album was fire." And I just fell in love with it, and the video, and the Rap Viper, and the whole thing. And my daughter did a little rap bit and all that stuff. And
Rap Viper, next bit blinks, play me from the veins to the bug to the hiss tape.
I made him a custom Rat Viper, and he was, and we kind of just got to know each other even more through that. And, we touch base here and there. And then, like Sean said, he was like, man, would you be interested in this project? And I was like, let's see. Yeah.
And I remember.
What was the brief?
Well, it's funny. When I was first thinking, I was like, maybe 1 or 2 figures would be amazing. And Ozzie's so incredible. I'm not sure if I pitched you the song or sent you the song first. And I think you were just like, I'm going to make all of them. And it just blew me away.
And the thing I didn't tell you at the time was I'd only done 1 O-ring custom to that point. Like, all my work was in the modern era figures, but I had done one. I'd done a soft master, and I knew I could. I just hadn't done them. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to do this. So I remember we discussed, like, let's meet up at a Zoom, right? And let's go over the lyrics and just give me your ideas. And I had stuff ready to go, and we were trading back and forth, discussing, hey, for this figure, what do you think? And, what about green hair for this and this and the other? And, all right, cool. And we're just spitballing, man, back and forth. So that's kind of how it broke down initially.
Yeah, and I guess for anyone who is watching this and hasn't seen the video, which
link in the description below.
Yeah, pause and go watch it immediately. Beautiful, thank you. You guys are top shop over here. And
then come back to this video and get the anecdotes, the behind the scenes, the hot scoops, guys. Should we break it down and talk about each figure in turn? Because I think that'd be the most exciting way to just give every single one of these creations their due. The creative process behind them, and then also the construction, the parts. Yeah. It could be a fun game. I mean, Bergie, are you familiar with all the parts used for these figures?
By now, I think maybe I could probably get like 50%. That's actually a great trivia. Like, maybe more. There's still a few where I'm like, I don't know whose thighs those are.
That's a good, because I've already forgotten the other 50%. Yeah. So together we should be able.
Maybe between the three of us, we can puzzle it out. We're going to do things alphabetical because, I could do them in order of appearance, but I think alphabetical is wonderfully random. So let's do Child Kick.
Whoa, Child Kick, the only non-O-ring figure in the line. And as Ozzie mentioned, I had said, I was like, they have to be O-rings. I want O-rings. I love O-rings. I got my O-ring guys here. And here's my Grand Slam. Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about Child Kick here, and we were saying, all right, what do you want to do for the kid, right? And I know this is a Star Wars figure. It's actually an Anakin figure, but we were like, I remember, Sean, you were I want to say you.
Boba Fett?
No, Anakin.
young Boba Fett? No.
Oh, yeah. Hello. You're right, actually.
Attack of the Clones, baby.
Yeah, there it is. There you go. Yeah, young Boba Fett. Everyone's favorite Star Wars character.
I just closed my eyes and played him. But, yeah, Child Kick. Sean was like, what about something like, think like Penny from Inspector Gadget? And I was like, oh. Okay, Penny for Inspector Gadget. So that was kind of the idea of the colors here with the red and the green and the white. So, Child Kick.
Coming up with them for the song, they are rooted in some background and reasoning, right? They all have an important place on 1984's, right? Of the 1980 members, everyone is special. Oh yeah. Well, there's Meet Cute and Date Night, the matchmaking brothers. I do have a running list.
Maybe you got to release an extended cut at some stage. Just see.
Oh yeah.
How
well, there's the sub teams. Yeah, we've got the para abnormals troopers. They're like paratrooper Ghostbusters. There's like a whole thing going on. But anyways, Child Kick. This was like, to me, so many of those 80s shows, we talk about Penny from Inspector Gadget. There was always a kid running around, with maybe the exception of GI Joe. But I mean, Transformers, there was Spike. Mask had, was it Matt Tracker's kid was running around. Like, I remember the Jurassic Park movie, the second one, there was, I guess all of them, there were kids running around. There was like always kids running around in these like very dangerous situations with highly skilled, highly trained, expert adults, and then there's a kid, and the kid somehow can like outsmart people or like sneak around without any tactical training or noticeable skills or whatever. And I just thought it was funny. It's like, what's a kid doing there?
Well, we asked that question at the time, so clearly the concept failed because, I mean, obviously it was the writers trying to give us a sort of a character we could imprint ourselves upon. But like, I don't know about you guys, but as a child, we saw right through that. I mean, it was like, oh, come on. I don't want to watch this kid. Let's spend more time with the grown-ups and the cool vehicles.
Exactly. The kids were like the last figure you wanted, but
I mean, maybe someone had an affair. I don't know.
Which brings me to a very important point. If you haven't, once again, seen the video, check it out, because part of the joy of the parody is when you cut to close-up and you have the little commentary, a little inset. Typically in a GI Joe commercial, it'll say weapons do not shoot, or fictional situation depicted, or something, some fine print. But the fine print on each of these figures is hilarious and different for each one. I think with Child Kick, it's just basically letting you in on the fact that this is someone's illegitimate child just kicking around base.
Yeah,
anyway, go read it.
Absolutely. And it's so funny. Like, what did you just say? One of the notes was, this is a like fictitious depiction or something. Like, it's like, there'd be like, batteries not included. Fantasy situation. It's like, what kid thought, oh, this like giant transforming robot, blasting lasers over the moon. And that's, it's a fantasy situation. Thanks for bursting my bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the kids who could read the fine print. That's funny.
All right, boys and girls, let's talk about Chopside. Which is just a fun word to say, I must admit. Chopside.
Chopside, right? It sounds like he'd be on the team. Like, that's the thing too. Like, all the names, I wanted them to sound like conceivably they could be on a GI Joe, like a GI Joe knockoff. Like the Corps or any of these squads. Bronze Bombers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you know I was thinking about Bronze Bombers? I've got my Secto Viper here, and I was like, man, there's like a repaint Secto Viper in that line that I would love.
They've got such... It sounds like whoever was writing the copy on those characters was just having a lot of fun. So, just like parody characters, Chopside.
Chopside, because the team needs a cook. Yeah, go ahead, Ozzie.
Well, he had to have chops, naturally. So, that's the long chops there, the long sideburns. So, for sure.
I'll never look at Bazooka's head sculpt the same way again. Every Bazooka needs those mutton chops. My goodness.
Look how cooler anyone can look with that Elvis touch. All right? Yeah, for sure. Anyways, so I put an apron on this dude, and I was like, all right, well, and these are just a pair of rubber kitchen gloves. And I just, all right, let's cut it out here, make a pattern, and make this apron. And I was like, all right, match the boots and gloves, and this guy is, second only to Roadblock in the kitchen. So, Now, if you notice his scarf around the neck, so all the figures, just for fun, you can't tell in the video necessarily, but for all the figures, I try to add a pinkish or a purplish color to every single one. So we'll get to some. Eventually, we'll get to the chaplain. I've had people go, dude looks normal, but what's with the pink shoes? And it's all about tying every single figure in with this weird color, just for the heck of it.
And I mean, that just goes to show you what a master Ozzie is. And as we're going through the figures, you'll see like these small little like attention touches and attention to detail. It's just amazing. And yeah, like you look at Chopside and he's like, oh yeah, like what? And do you know what the build is behind him, like behind the apron? Because we can't really tell.
Yeah, right. I think it's mostly sneak peek, I believe.
Okay. Sneak peek on the collar. I'm going to say those are Worms gloves.
Oh, you're right. I meant the torso for sneak peek. You're right. But now, oh gosh, the legs and the arms. They might be.
The legs look generic enough. Could be a bunch of different guys. But man, like I'm going to say probably something from like 87 or 88.
Yeah, the boots. I was
not getting hung up on that.
Who,
I'm curious. I mean, you've gotten a choice bit of soft goods there, Ozzie. That smock is chef's kiss, to use a little bit of kitchen parlance.
I don't know if you can
And
see
there was
it.
a chef character planned at one point, wasn't there?
There was, and his place got taken up by Starduster, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what he looked
there
like
you
without
go.
the apron. So I don't know. That's probably not helpful, but
I'm gonna say the legs are from Muskrat.
could be
Yeah.
right.
Good.
Yeah.
Woo,
Look
okay.
at that. Instant identification.
Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, listeners. Gosh, yeah, might be that little sort of breathing apparatus that he's got, or that tank that he's got on his leg. Maybe. All right, gentlemen, let's keep on trucking. Next up, it's Close Shave. Whoa,
So mean with the clippers.
Amazing.
Again,
What
another
did you use
team
for-
member. We needed a team member who cut their hair, right?
I did remember the caption to this one's close-up, which is "Hair does not grow back." I suppose that's a dig at Barbie dolls, right? Like kids everywhere would cut their Barbie's hair, and sorry, that's it. It's
Only
a
so much
one-time
in
trick.
there.
Yeah.
There's so much in
Hair
there.
does not grow back. Yeah, love this guy. And Ozzie, your touch, you got to talk about the paint job because it's such a smart touch. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking haircuts here. So naturally we had to go barber, right? So the idea here is the red, white, and blue is kind of reminiscent of the barber's pole. So if you think of an old-fashioned barber pole, that's what we're talking about here. And that pink is just that little tie-in again to the team. But some people might notice his clippers. They're actually, they're from a modern figure of Snake Eyes. No, Storm Shadow. That's right. The Renegade Storm Shadow, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I didn't even know what it was. I suppose little darts or something. Anyways, I glued that to some sort of little wire-looking doodad, and I thought, all right, how can I, tie it into his little arm piece? Because this is, all right, help me out here with whose arms this is. The army guy.
Backblast.
All right,
Yeah,
there you
back
go.
blast.
Yep.
Sorry, Bergie, I'll let you jump in first, man.
No, Steve, it's fun for you to go for it. This is
No,
fun.
it's more fun for you.
I'm sure
man.
there's so many people, who see it and
geek
just
about
know
this
instantly. Yeah.
Probably rolling their eyes. How do these guys not know? Because there's so many. There's 1,980 figures, man. That's why.
The
Collect them all.
imagination runs wild. We got Codename, who has perhaps the longest. Like I froze frame and had a good giggle at his caption because it's all sort of ordering information. No, that's never mind. That's reuse. Codename is Bergie. Who's Codename?
No, you're right. Codename is the one who gives everybody code names, and he is the super exclusive figure that you can only get if you clip and save your points from all 1,980 members. Then you send away for Codename. And
Not
so he's
available
super
in
rare.
Hawaii or something.
That's right. And it expires on October 21st, which is my birthday. So there's a fun Easter egg for you. Void where prohibited. I mean, that's something as a kid, you'd see that on everything. Void where prohibited. I don't know you're 6 years old watching cartoons and, ads for cereal and sending away for your Cobra Commander or Emperor or Super Trooper. And what the heck is Void where prohibited? It's actually a good album title. I should maybe use that.
Yeah.
But
Track called
Ozzie,
Legalese. Basically, all the budding sort of lawyers among us were getting their dose of legalese early on, I guess.
yeah, Legalese. That'll be the rat. What? No. Ozzie, please tell us about the color scheme here, because this is another cool Easter egg.
All right, so those people that are interested in collecting the ironic Star Wars prototype figures, the ones that are not mass produced but are mass produced. Anyways, I love the irony there. So I was just like, yeah, you know what? For Codename, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to paint him up just like he's those prototype figures and have at it. And he's the only 1982 actually straight arm dude in the line. So. There we go.
Oh, yeah, you stuck very, very faithful to that. I mean, he's even got the 1982 thicker crotch.
Yep. It's also purple.
Who we got next? We got Disc Man. Whoa! Got to check out your modern fodder bin for his accessory, but it is perfect.
It's Discman, and what a great mashup. Like, I love, like, because you've got DJ's body, you have, the Snake Eyes head, and it's just like, but he works as this, like, strange modern superhero-y guy that's like fits in with the team somehow, but looks, he's got this ridiculous giant disc blaster, which is,
Talk about hurling shurikens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ozzie, what was your inspiration here?
Yeah. So you mentioned the DJ, right? The DJ part. I mean, he's hurling shurikens, man. He's Disc Man. So we got to go with DJ's torso. But yeah, you know what? I'm just kind of going with what are some colors I haven't used yet? What kind of colors might pop? And then might not be popping right here. But on the screen, I'm just like, we got this turquoise blue color and this purple. And plus, it's Snake Eyes' head. It's like, how can I make him? He's always going to look like Snake Eyes, right? So it's like, how can we make him stand out in a way that people don't maybe see Snake Eyes right away, or they do it first, but then they kind of see the disc and they go from there, right? But as soon as I was like hurling shurikens, I'm like, all right, let me go in my fodder bin here. I'm like, oh man, you got to come up with this big disc shooter, right? I mean, he's the guy. So.
It just occurred to me now that like Visor Snake Eyes is absolutely the parts choice you'd use to make a Daft Punk O-ring figure. I mean, it's right there.
That's visor. A great idea. Yeah.
Someone's going to run with it.
Too many people aren't hating on me for using up a 1985 Snake Eyes head, but whatever.
There's a lot out there. There's a lot.
There's one less in the world.
Yeah. People prize it because they like the version, but it is a common figure. Actually. Right. It's not like an exclusive or anything. Actually. Grenade Balls is next.
Oh, yeah. Grenade Balls. Now,
so he's rocking the purple all over. All of his grenades are picking up that color note that you wanted to play, Ozzie.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, and I remember telling Ozzie when we were talking about this, like, he just has to have like just the most ridiculous amount of grenades possible. Like, why anyone would run around with this many grenades all over their body? I mean, but again, that's like what you would see. Like, he's kind of a spoof of like when some of those action figures got really ridiculous. Not necessarily Joe, because I think even when Joe got like really out there, they were like somebody was reining them in and be like, he should have, he shouldn't have that many grenades. But there were other toy lines where you'd see guys with just like, or I think of like Rob Liefeld comic covers where they've got all the grenades and packs all over them and stuff. But yeah, grenade balls. And the color scheme it's reminiscent of Captain Gridiron, of course. Like, that's when you look at it, I'm like, oh, it's a similar paint scheme. But yeah, Ozzie, what was the thinking here?
Yeah, so you're right, Captain Gridiron. So what I did when I put this one together, right? So I'm looking at the helmet and I'm like, man, that just gives me old school football vibes, right? Like 1950s vibes. And I was like, all right, well, let's just make him just do an homage to Captain Gridiron. So that's definitely where the colors here, and it might be hard to pop them up on the screen, but there's some more army green with a brighter green chest and the yellow. So definitely for sure. And then with the grenades, right? I almost was like, should I pop one right straight there in the crotch? I was like, maybe that's too spot on. And I was like, you know what? We'll put them everywhere else, but maybe. I don't think there's one. No, there's not one there. And anyway, just slather them with the grenades, like Word said, and yeah, here we go. Right.
It's great. Now, I remember this was one where when we were looking for parts, it was like a very specific hunt because we wanted to find that Major Blood, right? So some of the parts are from Major Blood, and then the other grenades are Targat. Am I correct there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
waist of midriff grenades.
Yeah, so I think is that right?
Yeah.
The target, torso,
yeah.
And then I think it's Blood's arms and maybe the legs too to get all the grenades.
Correct. Yep. Blood.
Yeah. He did have a lot
fighters blood.
Yeah, Supersonic Fighters blood.
Now there's one. There's one other figure that the comments would certainly correct me on this. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. Darklon in 1989 had one boot that was encrusted with like 12 grenades. Was that on
Yeah.
your radar at all, Ozzy?
You know what? That's a good call.
Too
I had
much.
to be honest here. We were balancing like what we wanted to do with what we had and what we could acquire without, throwing us crazy over budget. But as I look back, I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, well, that'll be Grenade Balls V2, right? When we come with the
Mhm.
next
Yes.
wave.
Okay.
Yeah, they all have swivel ankle battle kicks.
Even more grenades. Yep.
No, this is the standout.
Yeah, and it was
for
also
me.
like a time limit, right? Like if you think of like we're making the music video, Ozzy's making all these customs by himself. He's got a life. It's amazing. So it's like we couldn't, in the amount of time, it's like insane. What an incredible how he cranked it up, and we'll get into that. But sorry, Steve, what were you going to say?
Oh no, this is a good juncture to talk about it. Like, was your process to find a lot and source parts within it, or were you headhunting specific components right out the gate, Ozzy?
Yeah. So when we were talking back and forth of that first, Zoom, we were like, all right, and just like I said, spitballing parts and ideas and color schemes and what we thought, and then we go back and look at things, and I'd send them some thoughts. Hey, here's where I'm going. This is what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? And okay, cool. Or what about this? And the time frame thing, right? I suppose in hindsight, I could look back and go, maybe I had some more time, but I'm a teacher by day, fifth grade. So I was like, my summertime is the best time to try to knock these out. And I probably didn't have, I know I didn't have the time frame for what it would take to put a video together and all the other stuff. So I was thinking, man, if he comes calling in November for the parts, I'm like, I better get this done in the summer. And he was, and Wordburglar was like, no, you got time, it's cool, but I just didn't quite understand. So I just took all summer, made sure I got them done in the summertime. And then we sat on them for a good year or so.
It was a while, yeah. Well, just with everything, because the pandemic was going on. It was like we couldn't shoot, so things wound up taking, quite a bit of time from like the original creation to then us finally shooting it. And what was amazing about the shoot day? Look, there you are. Look at us. There's and my buddy Nigel, who took a bunch of the photos on set, and some of the photos you'll see here. That is the actual set, and you can see the figures there in our little sandbox. And we also got to shout out because you got some contributions. I sent you a box of parts, you had a box of parts, and then you acquired a bunch we got some donated from a few sources, right?
Yeah. Jogan Warrior and Darkwise especially just said, here, take these pieces. These are for a Wordburglar video. Man, that's awesome. Here you go. So that was really cool. So between those pieces, a few things we bought online because we felt, we need these. Could get them for cheap. And then Sean himself had a bunch of extra O-ring pieces. And we just slapped them together and said, all right, what do you think about this? Where do we go? But I think our first Zoom was the summer of 21, I think.
Wow. Yeah, that's so wild. And 1984 started years ago because I do my own indie comics, and I had a comic called Snake Or's Pizza about an evil snake man who fails to rule the globe and winds up working at a pizza shop as his fallback plan. And in that comic, he fought essentially 1984, which at the time we called Team Squad, but Grenade Balls was part of that team, and there were a few other members on there. And I collected it recently, and it was Snake Or will hopefully come back in the new year with we've got some stuff planned. But 1984 has kind of started there and then kept growing. And then I was like, well, I want to do this song and this video. And I did a little comic strip in a zine with some friends of mine. And the zine's called Highly Dubious. And I wrote and illustrated a few 1984 comics. And that was 2019. I thought it was 2016, but it was actually 2019 it came out. And I think we only printed
before
like 200.
times.
In the before times, yeah, so wild.
It all bleeds into one.
Yeah, and a lot of these characters appeared in that first one. Sneaky Pants is in there, and Wildlife, and then the character who didn't make it into this wave of figures, Flight Plan, who is the 1984's pilot who can fly anything, like even a boat. She can fly a couch. Like she can fly anything. Flight Plan. And so maybe with Flight Plan, there's another. That's the behind the scenes. It's like, we talked to the marketing people, and J.C. Penney and Sears, they didn't think Flight Plan would sell, so we shelved that figure idea.
Right.
But yeah, so anyways, that's 1984 started there, and then the song, and then as Ozzie and I first had these meetings, he's in 21, which is wild, and then we actually shot the video in 22, and then released it in 23. So it's a really long, it goes to show you, and I'm working on stuff now that I've been working on for a long time that will hopefully come out, next year in 2025. So it's just, I've got so many projects on the go. There's so many things cooking all the time. So I right now I kind of have a plan of the next 2 or 3 years worth of stuff that I'm working on, but then you never know what's going to, something would come in and take over. It's I'm going to focus on this for the next 4 or 5 months. So it just goes to show you how long these things take. And when I made Welcome to Cobra Island, that basically took me my entire life from the 80s up till when I released it for me to make that album. So, long story short, it's a long story. It's a long road to getting this video done, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. Reliving this now, it's it's all coming back to me when we were just in those early days of putting the figures together. Final thing on that, I wanted to say, after all that work Ozzie did, I was like, okay, well, the figures are done. We're going to shoot the video finally when we got everything lined up. We had my buddy Sandy, who's directed it and did an incredible job. And we got everybody. We had the location. We had it all planned out. We had the shoot day. It was we got the camera crew, makeup, everything. Okay, we got our date. We're ready. Ozzie, I was like, well, do you want to FedEx the figures? And rightly so, Ozzie was like, well, I think you just didn't want to trust all this hard work shipping it in the mail. And Ozzie was like, no, man, I'm gonna drive to Toronto, because I'm in Toronto in Canada and Ozzie's in Michigan. And obviously it was awesome to have Ozzie there on set and be there for the video. That's dream scenario for me, but I didn't want to put that on Ozzie to come all the way to Toronto. But I love that you are, smuggling custom action figures across the border.
Well,
yeah.
And let's be honest, right? If I didn't show up, you'd have all that stuff set up, ready to go, and what a disappointment that would be. So, I need to make sure if I said I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. So, and going through the border, man, you never know. You never
Plastic
know.
crack.
It's the day they decide to strip your vehicle down to the, the hubcaps. But
oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought. Can you imagine if he looked in the toys and then just was like, "What's in these?" and then starts breaking them open, thinking you're trying to smuggle something inside the O-rings. That would have been, no, you don't understand. That's Sneaky Pants. He's one of a kind.
Yeah, they would have said, dude, that's what Bob Probert did in 1986. We've seen this show. Anyway.
Did you have a casualty on set, though? Because I noticed, I think it was someone who we're going to consider a little bit later had a broken crotch.
Yes, sir.
You have a keen eye, Steve. Joburg, you guys are the sharpest. This is amazing that you caught that. But yeah, Ozzie.
Yeah,
what happened?
It was an accident, but I think it actually worked perfect for the video because these figures, did they not have broken crotches? Did we not complain?
You got to have at least one. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, when all right, so this is funny. All right. So I remember when we're taking them out and we had talked, but we hadn't broke down every single thing. So I pull the figures out and oh yeah, these are cool, whatever. And the director again did a fantastic job. What's his name? Sandy. So he's like, all right, you know what? Can you give the first few, figures over here to the kids, whatever? I was like, all right. And then Sandy's like, all right, kids, take them, play with them. And so, they're playing. I'm going, okay. And then he's like, all right, now play, whoa, like you would do, boom, 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 boom. And the kids are getting into it now. Now they're smashing together, whatever. I'm like, all right, now I'm like, all right, these are customs, but they're also props. Like, this is cool. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope they hold up. Because I was like, he hasn't done close-ups yet or whatever else. I'm like,
did you bring a spare airbrush? I mean,
no, I did. I brought my paints anyways. I brought my paints up. Didn't give us an order for those either. So I brought the paints up and I was like, oh, but please don't there be too much. So yeah, I see one of the boom, crotch is broken. I'm like, oh, and when I saw the clip put together, he had the broken crotch. I didn't see the clip at the time. I was like, oh. So when I got a chance, I grabbed the figure. I found the crotch in the sand. And just quickly, glue, boop, popped it on. It's actually, the crotch is actually now slightly out a little bit. But, the guy had he ordered something online. He's much better for it. But the point is, I was like, I got to grow this. I got to put this back on here. And I got to go. And, but it's in the video just like that, the broken crotch. I was like, you know what? That's hilarious, actually. Perfect.
It's a keeper.
And, Steve, can you imagine that? Like, just be like, here, kids, take these amazing custom GI Joes and just play with them. And just like Ozzie, like I could feel like Ozzie be like, oh, yeah, oh no, it's just a straight arm snake eyes. Just go for it. Just smash them around. And the kids love them. Like, those kids had never seen GI Joes before. They thought they were the best toys ever, and it was like you can see the joy on their face. Like, there's the kid with the glasses was just like so happy, and I was like, this is like what it should be. That's what, like, when I would see those kids in the commercials with 20 new GI Joes I'd never seen before in my life. Who are these kids? How'd they get this aircraft carrier? What's going on? Like, it was just capturing that magic. Like, those kids really loved it. So yeah, they could have broken all the thumbs and crotches they wanted. It was all good.
I've noticed a pattern because I've got a 2-year-old, and occasionally he gets handsy with some O-ring figures. They always go straight for the crotch. They always want to split the legs. I'm like, no, do not be doing that, man. That puts pressure on that groin. So yeah, it's something universal about just like manipulating the figure that way, just testing the limits. I suppose I have a few broken crotches in my future before he learns, okay, wait, that's not actually how we play with O-ring figures.
There, you know what? My 3-year-old, she's got a bunch of different toys, and she came into my office, my studio, and I've got O-ring guys all over the place. And she was like, "Where are your superheroes? Where are your superheroes?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "The yellow guy, the brown guy, blah, blah, blah." Playing with all these, and she was like playing with Joes, and she just wanted to play with Joes. So yeah, now I'm like giving her like O-rings to just play with, and she just thinks they're like super fun. They are super fun toys to play with. So.
There ain't nothing like it on the market currently.
Yeah.
Maybe Super 7 can change that, but certainly not at a price point that invites children to play with them. I mean, we had it good, boys. We had it very, very good. Shall we continue our cavalcade through this cornucopia of characters? I try. All right, next up we got a high watermark for me, because this is a deep cut for lovers of the comic book series for GI Joe. It's Neil Hall with Holy Bible.
That's right.
And you nailed it. I mean, the Chaplain's Assistant Motor Pool was such a great part of those Larry Hama comics, and such a like fun little subtle joke that kind of was this running gag that kept going on. And I always thought we should have a Chaplain's Assistant action figure. Why not? And so, of course, he had to be part of the team, because you need a faithful non-combatant on your missions. So, this was the option. And I mean, Crankcase's face, have you ever looked at Crankcase? Like, it's so perfect on this corpse wide barrel chested bod here. Who are the legs, Ozzie? Do you remember?
Oh man. Someone might know here. You can see
Core.
the double belt there.
All core.
It's all core. Yeah.
Is it all core?
The arms, I think, are not core. They look beefy. They look like 90s G.I. Joe. But the torso with that broad shoulder, that's a core if I ever saw one. And the legs, they're sort of less detailed than a GI Joe might be.
Okay.
Core, baby.
But yeah, core, yeah. So it's just one of those parts, and I was like, all right. And we were talking about making them just kind of as plain as normal, just those chaplain guys who were up there who had no clue what was going on, yeah, so we're like, well, let's make them pretty, just regular uniform, nothing too crazy, and except for the boots, right? Got to tie in that pink color somewhere. But
there you go. You alluded to it earlier, but I was wondering about those boots when I was examining the build. I was like, it's an interesting color for a chaplain.
Right. He's part of the team. This guy's in
fabulous.
the know. This guy's
Hey, he's bringing joy to the world with some beautiful boots.
Right.
Yeah,
And
brightening your day.
Such neat hair. I mean, he's very squared away.
It's
Good boy.
good. Yeah, he's nice, clean. Yeah, sharp fellow.
That's right.
Yeah, love Neil Hall.
Last Nerve is next.
Hey.
And the caption for this guy is, he's a single dad. Oh no, wait, that's the lyric, right?
Yeah, no, that is his primary specialty, team single dad.
And the caption reads, not legally divorced yet.
Yeah, still technically married.
There we go. Sorry, Bergs, you should just jump in with it.
No, man. You know what? I was writing those at like 3 a.m, just chuckling to myself. And like when I was working with the editor, and he was like, "Okay, I need to get all those. I need all the disclaimers." I was like, "Okay, I can." I just had a blast cooking those up, and
gold.
Yeah, I got to shout out.
The last piece of the creative puzzle. It sort of happened in post.
Yeah. On the video, that definitely was one of the last things. Like, you'll notice all those scenes where, we do the close-up and you get the figure's name. Like, that's, like, definitely, we modeled that after those very early A Real American Hero Joe commercials, right? When it went sort of all black and gave you, like, the closest. So we did pattern that after. So when we were doing those effects, but then the disclaimers came in, I was actually talking with Brian Sauer, who made the logo. Like, big shout out to Brian Sauer from Codename Iowa. I'm sure many people know. He did this incredible logo. Oh my gosh. Like, don't you just want that on like everything?
A shirt.
And we got to do shirts. I've been talking about doing shirts. A few people have asked me. I think I've just got to find the right style of shirt, and we'll do it. But we were just talking about the ads, and we were just joking around about, you like the disclaimers, and like, batteries not included, and and that kind of really got me thinking. So, big shout out to Brian, who is great brainstorming. Because I was looking at ways to, like, how can we, like, amp this up? And there's like a scene where my character kind of comes, it's like the picture-in-picture and pops up, and that's kind of a nod to, like, some of those, like, the Transformers commercials did that, or Micro Machines, and you would see those things. And because as much it is GI Joe, it's a big smorgasbord. And my character, who we just sort of codenamed 1984 Man, like the foreman, he may have another name at some point. But yeah, he was kind of, I was talking with somebody recently, and they were like, well, he's kind of like Ultimate Warrior meets the Dreadnoks. And I was like, yeah, that's a good description. And I didn't want to go like, I had my pandemic hair. As you can see, that's my real hair. That's not a wig. That's another thing. Oh, yeah. I grew it all myself. That is 100% homegrown, custom Wordburglar hair, made real.
Brother.
And
that was hibernated deep.
I did. I was deep in the Wordburg lair, just growing out my hair. And I was like, this is like, I'm gonna use it for. That was another thing. My wife's like, when are you gonna shoot this video? You need a haircut. And I got the sideburn, the steps shaved in, and it was just this epic mullet. And I was like, I'm going to use this for and that really helped dictate the character, because you would think like, I could have done it. Yeah, like I thought a spoof of Sergeant Slaughter would be almost too easy and too, like, I didn't want to go that way, but I was like, I wanted a wrestler type guy. I wanted like some 80s energy, and that Ultimate Warrior kind of Marty Jannetty meets Dreadnought, just, and also like random cyberpunk and just miscellaneous. Like he could kind of be anybody, and you're like, why is this guy in an alley with graffiti now? And now he's in front of a tank with a cape on. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It made me laugh, but also like the 7-year-old in me watching commercials like this would be like very hype to see that type of thing. It's like, there's a guy in a cape in front of a tank, and now he's got sunglasses and a baseball bat. And I don't know. He's screaming at me to buy these toys. But
that kind of wrestler vibe is probably the perfect visualization of like the hard sell of the kids' toy commercial.
Exactly.
Collect them all now. Like, whoa, that is the biggest blowhard of all, Yeah.
You don't see that now, though. Everyone had a loud, angry, or both man yelling at you. Like it was cereal commercials, toy commercials. It was like everything, right? Yeah. I remember like honeycombs. Some guy like is like screaming at kids and to like eat honeycombs. I don't know. It's like, I just remember a lot of like, why are all these adults yelling at us to buy things? Here he is. All right, sorry, Last Nerve.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
Right. So the head on this guy, right? Just kind of, Last Nerve. Don't make him angry. Am I right? So he just and his hands up. He's touched on, but I think he was recently single. And I tried to paint him up like he was still being dressed by his wife, maybe. I don't know. So he just kind of got the colors that I wouldn't wear. I wouldn't wear a red shirt with a green collar like that. It's not even Christmas. It is now, but it wasn't then. So anyway, this guy's single for a reason, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Kick? I don't know, maybe.
I will never see Grunt when I look at that head again. A lot of people don't see Grunt at all when they look at that head either, but it's a strange look for the guy.
It was just perfect. I just like when you got that Grunt head, Ozzie, I was like, man, that is the absolute best. He's Last Nerve. And Last Nerve, he's one of the guys who I thought like this could be a Joe name, right? Like I could see it as being a legitimate, it could have been a Joe guy, right? Like some of the, short fused. Yeah,
slipping that last wire.
He short fused his cousin. Yeah.
All right, boys. Lobster Trap. I believe he's allergic to crustaceans.
Yes, you're awesome. A good reader. You've been doing your homework. And I think it's clear he's got the Dreadnought vibe. He's got... I grew up in Nova Scotia where we have a lot of lobsters everywhere. I know a lot about lobster. I don't even really like lobster personally. It's maybe my least favorite of the shellfish, but I always thought Lobster Trap sounded like he could be like a Dreadnought pirate. So that's the origin there. And then, Ozzie, what were you thinking for the figure?
Yeah, so this one, there's no homage necessarily, but I was like, again, kind of like the Hurl and Shuriken dude. I was like, Discman. I was like, let's play with some colors here. So I've got a few different vibes of green and the gold, and just kind of had fun with the colors. And in person, I really like the colors. This guy pops to me, but he's a pretty simple build. Really, it's Thrasher's body, I believe, through and through, with Zanzibar's head. So of course he's got that pinkish purple eye band going on. So yeah,
it's an awesome build. I love that color scheme too.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of Blaster from the BF2K. Now that I think about it.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, you know what's? Yeah, I guess not. There's not gold. It's funny. I was digging through a random box where I've got all those Joes and got this pretty cool green Viper, who's like a later release, but it's really nice use of this build. It's like the green shirt colored Viper. He's a little different green. This guy's more like it's almost like a tripwire paint scheme.
Yeah,
but, surprisingly good later painted Viper. Yeah.
Just don't be bending the legs too much, Bergie, because Those guys famously used the bat
Yeah.
crotch and viper upper thighs. Well, thighs. So that it's a bad fit. Oh,
Yeah.
who's this now?
Oh, this is a sweet Headhunter Storm. I'm a big Headhunter fan. I think that's a great subset. This is a Headhunter Stormtrooper. This was one of the club exclusives that I think they really knocked out of the park. And he actually, like, he feels like a Joe, you know, like an original Joe. You know, some of those figures you're talking, like the plastic feels lighter or cheaper, or like the oils coming out like on those Fun School guys. But for whatever reason, I don't know what they did, but this guy actually feels like pretty close to if you were to just open up like an original Headhunter. But anyways, I could go on. Yeah, I found this box of like all these random.
Four or five. It's very cool.
Yeah,
The color scheme looks like it's complementary to the existing Headhunters and not something that's like way out of step.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. It's like a turquoise and gold. It's a really nice. Like I found this box, like I said, with like a lot of later O-ring dudes that I'm just like building up, like this Roadblock, which is like a really nice like 2005 Roadblock, like this color scheme, and this is the Venom, Anti-Venom Task Force one.
Oh yes, yeah.
He's pretty sweet with a really nice mutt, but like I was saying about the plastic, like like if you look at Mutt's head again, I don't know if the camera is pretty good. Like the colors on these guys are great. Like I love the design, and they look really good together as a subset. But yeah, Anti-Venom Task Force, yeah, and like these 2005, 2004 sets, Action Man, randomly, the Night Force set.
Yep.
Why? Neon orange, but it's at night? I don't know. Anyways, we're talking about 1984s.
We're getting an impromptu tour of the Burglar. No, I'm all for it, man.
Hey, come back anytime. This is great. You know, I just like when are those guys going to invite me back? I feel like it's been years.
It has been years. We are remiss, but we're also a little bit nervous. You're a busy man. You got the next 3 or 4 years lined up, man. That's impressive. I don't even know what I'm doing next week.
I got to plan it out like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? They have like this big plan and then things get thrown off. But otherwise, nothing would, I've been trying to do stuff for years. It still hasn't happened. But like this, 1984. So you took 5 years.
It also takes 5 years sometimes. Meal prep, and someone who knows all about that is a nutritional beast. Here is the green hair you spoke of. What is up with that?
Bazzigian vegan. There he is.
I love that, Bazzigian vegan. I wonder if Kirk Bazzigian has seen this yet.
Probably not.
Someone, please send to him, someone who knows him, because, real quick. This, for people who may not know, nutritional yeast is something that is used in vegan cooking a lot of times for replacement cheese. So that's where nutritional beast is a play on nutritional yeast. Fun side note. If people were wondering about the code name, because a buddy of mine recently asked me about that, I was like, actually, it's a play on nutritional yeast. And Ozzie, let's dive into this guy.
Sure. So this is one that, I specifically remember on Zoom, and you were like, "Oh, all right, that's cool build. Yeah, let's make his hair green or something." I was like, I remember thinking green. All right, we're going for crazy. That's all good. So like, all right, well, Kirk, you're getting green hair. So, and we have to try to forget that it's perhaps Kirk. Anyways, so all right, what are we gonna do? And so I just got silly here. So we got torpedo legs, and I was like, we're going blue and gold. I don't know why. And then went Mindbender, chest, and just kind of kept the gold going. And man, this guy shows up. It reminds me of now I lost his name. 1980s guy who's working out all the time. Simmons, right? Richard Simmons.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was like, he's kind of got Richard Simmons vibes. His hair is not quite as crazy, but he's got the green, so I think it is. But it just gets silly. That's what we got here.
So Bergie, can you remember your caption for the close-up, the cut to close-up on nutritional?
Yes, it was made with non-vegan plastic, I believe.
Nice.
Which is awful for like the kid who is like has vegan parents who are like, well, we'll buy you the vegan one, and then even the vegan toy is not made with I don't know what vegan or non-vegan plastic would be, but I'm sure
I'm
there
Very
is.
afraid
healthy there.
Yeah,
vegan kids of vegan parents probably just get wooden toys. Lame.
yeah.
No plastic in that household. Oh no.
Somebody commented on the video, and there's actually really brilliant, funny, hilarious comments on the video. And someone commented, "Shout out whoever you were," and they were just like, "I wasn't allowed to watch the 1984's cartoon because I think he said my grandma didn't like grenade balls or something." I was like, "That is like such a great comment." It was just, but that's the thing, like the
We all knew
So-
that kid.
yeah, the kid who wasn't, they weren't allowed to watch GI Joe, and then they went and robbed a bank. So,
But that's
I
where you
don't
go. But grandma, the chaplain's assistant.
yeah, exactly.
Throw that in there. Case in point. This is an anecdote that's personal to me. Another member of GI Joburg, his name's Rob. His mother specifically bought him Scoop, the reporter, the journalist, the combat journalist, because he came with a camera and not a machine gun. So, like, there was that non-violent, non-lethal thinking back then, definitely. Even close to home, friend of mine.
I wonder, I know they were thinking about that, and Hasbro definitely in later years got really cognizant about it. But I wonder if at the time they had something in every wave that said we got to have one guy that doesn't have a gun. I wonder if that's true or not. That'd be a fun fact.
Kicking it-
Yes.
Well, how far can we get? Breaker in 82, which I suppose carries on into 83. 84, well, vehicle drivers, I mean, I suppose the vehicle is just their extension of their weapon. But of
Well,
the single
Tripwire
carded-
doesn't have a gun.
He doesn't. And those are discs. Those are, LPs, EPs.
Yeah, they're LPs. Yeah.
Original.
It's his turntable.
Yeah.
It's not mine's.
This is good
84.
trivia, actually. I wonder.
How far can we get? 84.
Is CoverGirl 85 or 86? 85?
83, actually. But if
Yeah,
we're
I
going
guess
to talk
vehicle
just about-
drivers were different because Toll Booth had like a hammer or something, right?
Yeah, okay, maybe 84 was the first, like, fully lethal year. I mean, Spirit did come with an arrow shooter, and Storm Shadow came with nunchucks, but yeah. All lethal stuff. Damn, we didn't get very far, did we? Maybe the comments
84?
will help
Yeah.
us out.
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah. Now I'm like going through my head thinking, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, they did. I was like, Shipwreck. Oh no, he had that weird silver gun.
Mutt
What
had
is
a
Shipwreck's-
tiny little Mac 10 or Mac 11, but apart from that, he's pretty law enforcement looking.
Barbecue's 85,
Mhm.
and Blowtorch has a flamethrower, which I guess looks like a gun.
Damn,
Yeah.
stumped. But like 86, we got mainframe. It's got a
Mm-hmm.
microphone, walkie-talkie.
Got a mold.
87.
Mindbender's it's like a stick. It's an interrogation prod or something. So
That wouldn't even look that
Totally wholesome.
yeah. Yeah, good game. Good game to play with your friends.
Mm.
Get some more drinks.
Let's yeah, exactly. Make a drinking
Yeah.
game out of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I know.
Let's talk about Party Line.
Sure.
She's non-lethal. They're non-lethal.
That's right.
Is
Yeah.
there an agenda here?
Yeah, Party Line is just basically like can communicate on anything, whatever it is. You got two pop cans, whatever, like that. This was more like some of the characters are way more outlandish, but Party Line to me was like, this is a cool name for a communications expert. I always liked that name, Party Line. And then like, yeah, her ability is she can just call you on anything. I've got a shoe, and somehow she can like, it's like a Gilligan's Island thing. Like they just like magically can make it a communication device. But yeah, and the design here is a really nice little nod, Ozzie. Isn't it?
Bergie, can you pick it out, man? I'm gonna quiz you on this one because this is a fascinating smorgasbord of parts.
The smorgasbord combo is, I want to say, is that Cobra Commander armor? No, the spikes. Battle Armor Cobra Commander? No. Parts wise, I mean the Dodger head with lipstick, which is fantastic.
It does throw you off a bit. I mean, that
And
feminizes Dodger's head like crazy.
and are the pants wild cards? I mean, they're the same color as wild card. I think.
So
And I don't know, but I know the color scheme. But I'll let Ozzie explain the color scheme because that's a nod to the Joe expert. Yeah, Ozzie.
I know those pants. They're not pants at all. Those are wetsuits. Those are Hydro Viper's
yes.
legs and an Annihilator's crotch. Wow. What a smash up. Ozzie, talk to us about it.
in the torso, you get the torso.
From Hydro Viper? No. Oh no, I didn't get the torso. The bandolier is throwing me off. Is that a custom?
Yeah.
Or is it Voltar?
No, if I
Who's got
think
the
the
spike?
torso, I'm gonna get the name wrong. Is it Sea Spray? It's the Cobra. It's like a light purple Cobra vehicle.
Oh, Sea
Oh,
Slug.
Sea Slug. Sea
right?
Slug. Wow. Yes. Yes.
Unrecognizable. Because he's got, you know what this color scheme reminds me of?
Yeah.
Special Mission Brazil mainframe. Did you
nailed
pull
it.
from there? Okay.
Absolutely right.
The tan and the red. Brilliant.
That's exactly what I was going for. You got it.
Good
Yep,
stuff.
And,
Sneak Peek's arms found their way here. Good
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Ah,
Who's
brilliant.
like-
Your codename parts identifier.
Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Wordburglar.
And I'm assuming you named your party line for the party line that existed in the 80s, where the
Yes.
three-way call. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
I never had that growing up, but my wife did. And yeah, it was a common to just you pick up the phone if someone's already on the line, you just sorry, hang up. Or
Mhm.
apparently
cover
Party
the microphone a little bit. Just listen in for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It was a
Mhm.
very 80s thing.
was my
'cause you could even
household.
call. Yeah, you would call like chat lines and just listen to people talking. Like that was a thing. It's like you can call the party line, and it's always a party on the party line. Like I remember, it was
Oh.
like I don't know.
Then am I thinking of something different where you just picked up the phone and people in your area, like everyone, you just picked it up, you automatically had a dial tone. So if you and your friend pick up at the same time, you could talk on the regular phone. Does that ring a bell?
Probably. I think it probably applied to a bunch of things. Like I know there was also like the call waiting where you push the button twice, and then you could get like 3 people on the call, and you're having like
Okay.
that's a party line. Like, yeah.
There you go.
Hacking the system, Bergie. Yeah. All right. Next up, reuse.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, reuse. Unmistakable head there for Torpedo, and yeah, I love the color scheme. Kind of a nod to Airtight as well as the team. Reuse is the team recycling expert. They'll sort your recycling and compost and everything else.
It's
Ozzie,
also
what were you-
not. This is a deep cut too. It's an international figure homage.
Tiger Force Torpedo. Tiger Force Torpedo. No.
It's Brazil, but it's not
Oh,
Mission
right.
Brazil, but it's Brazil. Crazy.
Air Puro. I mean, I'm
You're
terrible
heading
with
the
the
right
names.
direction. Yeah, I think I don't know if you pronounce it biomassa, something like that. But yeah, so an Eco Warrior
I believe it.
International Eco Warrior figure, and I'm like, with reuse, why am I not going Eco Warrior? So I went, well, let's go extreme Eco Warrior. Let's go just crazy paint scheme. That's where yojo.com is helpful. I'm like, all right, let me just look up some crazy stuff here. And I was like, all right, it's just fun paint job. Let's just see what we can do. So
Yeah.
Was the Brazilian figure a reuse of Torpedo's mold?
no, not at all. No, as a matter of fact, I forget what parts they were. You can look it up easy enough, but the colors, the way the green, the yellow comes together, I was like, it was very close to that. I was like, all right, that's cool. Fun, deep cut homage.
Yeah.
In fact, I can drop in the slide right now. Boom.
All right.
There it is on screen for the viewers, just not for my live guests. Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Steve, you're a wizard with
Can
this,
fix
and I love the NES
anything
backdrop, by the way. It's so good.
Buddy. Yeah, well, we've got to. I mean, we've got our oh, look, let me just, Oh, there it is. Haha. We've each got our little avatars designed by Mr. Paul Loebscher of GI Joburg.
So cool.
It's
Nice.
mine's a Shockwave. Kind of makes you wish we had the ability to like customize the NES game and like just create new skins, stats, just play it with a different skin. Like that'd
I did
be
that.
awesome. You did?
Yeah. Keep talking. I'll right back.
What?
I'm sure
Amazing.
you can. Yeah, I was like, I'm sure you can do like a ROM hack or something to that game. And have you ever played the arcade game, the GI Joe 4-player arcade game?
Not on the cabinet. I've done an emulation of that. It's
Yeah.
it's great. So much like visual intrigue. They crammed a lot of toys into those things. Loved
Yeah.
it. Hey,
It was different.
Ozzie's back.
Ozzie's
All right.
back.
So I'm not the first person to do this idea, but basically someone had done it with the O-ring version. So I did a modern figure version. It's just, and maybe it doesn't capture it so well here on video, but the idea was just to kind of look at the NES, just the digital little, just the way they put the shade in the whole thing and just try to mess with those colors and do it. But anyways, just for fun. But someone
So
else did it for
I can kind of name drop, but kind of can't name drop. It is either Matt or Chad Smelser.
Chad is right.
Chad. They entered it, or he entered it. Sorry, they're twins. Hence the Tomex and Zaymod confusion that I have. They entered it at the Final JoeCon. We were there, Bergie, 2018.
Yes.
They had Hawk, they had Rock and Roll, they had Snake Eyes, done in that kind of and posed very accurately and painted up in the sort of digital bits.
And they did the box.
box.
They did everything. It was so sweet. And for years, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to do that at some point, homage that what they did. So, yeah, credit to them for sure.
And Ozzie, you won a couple of those, or you definitely entered. I remember you and your family had some entries in
did.
those custom contests. Yeah, some great
Yeah, I
stuff.
did. Let's see. My first one, Sunbo Dana, to the pink and the white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget which one it was for that one. Yeah, I got first place there. I did the what would have been 1995 line that was coming out with those creatures that were jumping out of the chest. So I did a Snake Eyes version of that one, and then I did a flocked hair. Now I'll be honest with you, I played to the crowd on this one. So the club guys. Who was it? He was really proud of what he had done. It was the Green Doctor somebody, and he was like a glow in the dark green skin and the flocked hair and the whole thing. I forget the character's name.
Nice. Outstanding work, brother. Shall we keep this trucker rolling, boys?
Yes,
we got
this
a
is
few more.
epic.
More.
We're only doing
The goodies.
1980 today. Quick wit
Quick Wit.
opening up the jam. Yeah, because everyone needs, you need the morale on the team, right? I mean, Rap Viper was, his morale for the Cobras, right? That was part of one of his specialties. And, you always need, like, especially in GI Joe, there's always somebody cracking jokes and kicking butt, and I thought that's got to be Quick Wit. This is just a great mashup Franken figure that I just dig so much because I love the original molds. But yeah, Ozzie, take it away.
Yeah, you know what? This is one, honestly, if I could go back in time and spend a little more time, I probably would be a little more creative. But got the pink armband to let her know she's in the team. But this is actually the only figure where there's parts I didn't paint. And that's the green pants. Now I'm trying to remember. These are
Sonya
like
Blade.
Sonya
you
Blade's
go.
pants. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I actually kept the pants because that's a kind of cool green pop, and went with the purple, top and whatnot, and like I said. But I was like, I don't know. Probably could have done more with her with enough time. But I don't know. She's cracking jokes. No one's looking at her.
It's great. And like short sleeves and a ninja mask, and just, I love it. I mean, it's just like, whose arms? I was trying to figure out whose arms those are.
I can give you a little prod.
Shipwreck? Are they Shipwreck?
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
He's on it. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Little
right.
sweatband for Polly to perch on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, good call.
Well, I'm sure people with birds don't call it a sweatband. Or is it a sweatband? Like, is this... I've often wondered, is that an actual thing with bird owners? Do they use sweatbands specifically? Or is there a specific name for the thing? Because
Yeah, I
back
believe
in
they call
'84,
it.
when they designed,
No, go ahead. Yeah.
well,
I'm
back in
guessing
'84 when they were
it's off.
designing Shipwreck, I mean, someone had some reference for like, yeah, if you're gonna have a bird perch on your wrist, don't let its talons dig into your skin.
Oh, I was
Give them
thinking
a
the
swing.
bird's taking a dump constantly. Just take that armband off and you're done, throw it away, grab a new one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
They call it
Yeah.
a pet band.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
what they do.
cool.
No, I don't know.
And Shipwreck's alternate code name, Ozzy, must have been
I'll leave.
Skidmark.
Yeah. Yes. I think you might be right.
Oh, are we all in agreement that Skidmark may be the worst code name? Like, I don't
The
know.
folks in the UK definitely agreed because they quickly changed that to Treadmark. He was marketed specifically in my region as Treadmark. They didn't touch
As
that code name. Treadmark, like tire treads.
Yeah.
yeah, as I said that I was thinking of Colonel Courage, which is a bit of a weird name. This
a great
isn't Colonel
movie.
Courage. This is Bulletproof, right?
Oh,
That's Bulletproof.
yeah.
But I looked at Bulletproof and I was like, oh yeah, and it made me think of Colonel Courage, who I thought had a weird name. But this Bulletproof is actually a sweet build. Sorry.
Mm.
Ozzy, you're playing with toys over there. I want to play with some toys too.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Colonel
yeah.
Courage, that figure is just a great mold, man.
Great mold, yeah, but the name always just kind of like, were they trying
Yeah.
to do like a Sergeant Slaughter play or something? And it just he sounds like he's a Care Bear, but
I'm going to go one further and say it's always a mistake to include the rank in the
Oh,
character name, except maybe Major Blood. But if you're going to do Captain Gridiron, just call him Gridiron. What's the purpose of a
Yeah.
code name if you've got your rank sandwiched in there? It's like, are you never going to go up in rank? Or are you just going to be, I'm Major Gridiron. I'm
Yeah.
Colonel Gridiron.
it's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
it was
It's funny. I
awkward.
hadn't even.
And I think
Yeah.
the cartoon is to blame for it because when Hawk was introduced, everyone was just calling him General Hawk on the cartoon. I'm like, no, his codename is Hawk. It was Hawk in 1982. It's Hawk now in 1986 when the second version figure was released. Like, it's
Yeah.
still Hawk. Don't call him General Hawk. Everyone knows who the damn general is. Anyway,
Yeah,
and more
mini
like,
round.
I'm thinking, don't give his rank away. That's I'm thinking. Don't give his rank away.
You never know who might be listening in. They're like,
man.
what? They got the general
he's
here?
grunt. Yeah, it's
Right.
grunt Hawk. Um, yeah, but also
Corporal
like then
Hawk.
when they released Bazooka later, he became Sergeant Bazooka.
Yeah.
And like that was like one of the
Oh,
things.
that's
I
a
was like, why are you
legal
calling-
thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Or
They
then
couldn't
Hawk
get
became
Bazooka back?
and General Tomahawk, which was weird when they had to change his name. They called him General Tomahawk at one point.
You know, going back to Colonel
Yeah.
Courage, you were saying don't
Yeah.
include the rank. I was thinking, I don't know, don't name yourself Courage, Brave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the guy that gets killed. He gets killed first, man.
Yeah, you should rather call yourself Sandcrack.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's right. Oh, what a segue. There you go. He can handle the heat. He can even, yeah. I love it, and I love the camo you did on this guy. Like so meticulous, Ozzy. That's the chocolate
And
chip
now
camo.
we know why. Now we know why the hats is that shade.
That's
Because that
right.
also had me questioning. I was like, "What? What's going on?" But yes, it is that linking factor.
I was in the Air Force in the mid '90s, and at the time, I hated the chocolate chip paint scheme. I was like that the camo. I was like that looks ugly, but it grew on me just in recent times, and I was like, and that's also fun to paint. Actually, just kind of fun to paint. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go with the all browns. I'm going to mess around with some grays and blues, but yeah, I went with the Choco chip inspired camo, and I just kind of threw it on his face too. Not that paint scheme, just streaks, right? So yeah, I think it makes it a little harder to tell that it's Muskrat, although it looks a lot like Dusty still. But all that camo was re-put on, so it was all whitewashed and started over. So yeah,
I think it's great, and like the gray blue you used for the boots and the gloves and the camo, like I think that really pops off the rest of it. And yeah, the purpley pink hat is great. And he does kind of look like, oh yeah, did Muskrat just like get really swampy and didn't wash his face. But not really. I love it's like, it's like a desert camo thing. Because you need a desert guy just like you need a water guy and a snow guy. And I always joke in Canada here, you'd go to a store and there'd be like just a wall of snow job figures. It's like we just like the snow guy, like the polar bear vehicles, the snow cats. I actually believe that they just like shipped all the snow stuff to Canada because everybody had it, and we played with them in the snow, which was so fun. Like you two probably in Michigan. I don't know, Ozzie. But
Oh, yeah.
you guys get snow there too. But like I would. Snow cats in the snow was like the best. And if you put Zartan in the snow, his skin changed blue. Don't know if you knew that. Do you guys get snow in South Africa? Is that a dumb question to ask?
Yeah, look, you have to be really high up.
Yeah.
Sort of on the mountain peaks, but where I live, no, not a shred of snow. We used to use sheets. My mother was not mad about that idea. So anytime I wanted to break out the snowcat and the cobra wolf, yeah, the linen cupboard got raided.
Oh yeah.
I think once I defrosted the freezer. I took ice shavings and kind of made the scene. But I mean, that seeped right through into the carpet, of course, and this gigantic damp spot for the rest of the day. Lovely.
Oh, that's awesome. Like freezing your guys in the freezer, like do like the hand solo kryptonite. Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
Did that too. Mm.
Yeah.
Stick them to the top ceiling.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this boy, shrink wrap.
Yeah.
The rapping psychiatrist. Here to listen in between rhyme writing hits, which, I don't like to pick out favorite rhymes in songs, but that was one of my favorite rhymes for whatever. I was like, like when it came together, I was like, that just works. And, here to listen.
Couch not included.
Rhyme writing hits. And I could just imagine like the episodes of the 1984's cartoon where like he would be listening, the team would go to him and talk to him and he'd help them talk it out, and then they'd leave his office and he'd sit down and write some rhymes. And I just love what you did here, Ozzie. It's just it's perfect. That heavy duty head has never looked better.
Yeah, so right, if you're gonna do a rapper, right, I mean, you got to give a nod to Run DMC. Am I right? So that'd be the Beastie Boys for me too. But with Run DMC, I'm like, all right, so we got to go with the Adidas, my Adidas. So of course he's got the Adidas on, and then with Run DMC, you got to throw the chains on heavy, that's for sure. Although I only got one, but that's real like necklace part. Someone had leftover chain necklace. He's kind of cut it, put it on, make it happen. And the mic, that just that might be, I don't even know, but just little pieces of modern pieces he's kind of cut, and that might even be a hot glue drop on top for the mic drop, and then the shades, I don't even know. Shades came from some figure, and I'm like, all right, glue them on, make it happen. But yeah. So we got our little Run DMC nod here with shrink wrap. And he's got his own, what am I saying? The boom box, right?
Yeah, man.
That's right.
It looks awesome.
Well, I'm sorry you can't remember where those glasses are from. You might get some requests in the comments, like, find such cool shades that fit an O-ring figure's head.
I know, they're so cool.
They might be, this is crazy, modern figure Jurassic Park, the nerdy scientist dude who was in The Fly. That might have been those figures' glasses that I ripped off, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So many parts from so many places that I've just, over time, I can't remember what I did, what I painted.
Yeah.
So how
and I love
build that?
I was wondering about the pants. Like, are those like, because they look like baggy pants, and then with the sneakers, like, do you remember whose pants those were? Is it like partial like bazooka pants, or it's kind of hard to tell.
I'm gonna say
mainframe.
Mainframe, right?
Okay.
Thing?
Bazooka crotch, mainframe, sort of techno stuff. Let's make you big.
Yeah.
Or dial tone, perhaps.
Maybe. Oops.
Oh yeah, that is mainframe. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Good
One of my
eye.
earliest figures, actually. Yeah. Well, there's some that I know, Bergie, and there's some that I remain silent on.
It's good. I used to, yeah. It's been a while. That's why I got to break out more of my figures. It's been a while.
And here's an inspired bit of Pod's choice: sneaky pants.
With the umbrella. Oh my gosh.
The umbrella. What's with the umbrella? Talk to me.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's as simple as going, all right, what can I get this goofball who inspired the outfit, right? I'm like, when we were talking like sneaky pants, and I remember, words like, hey, all right, well, can you make them, really bright or whatever? Obviously, the irony of being sneaky pants and, bright.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. So I was thinking about, honestly, when I remember dropping my kid off for the first year in high school, he's in college now, but high school, and I remember seeing this kid, a few kids walking in, and they're just wearing like onesies. I'm like, and they look like Pikachu or whatever. I'm like, is it dress up day? What's going on? Now these kids just show up to high school like this nowadays. So I was like, let's get some, I don't know, Walmart smiley faces, and just make these green onesie pajamas just nuts. And the umbrella, I was like, I don't know, what would he have? And I looked for my accessories. I'm like, well, here's Penguin's umbrella. I'm like, sure, he's got an umbrella. Is it a gun? Is it just he just battled people with the umbrella? I think he does. That's it.
It's a silent weapon. I love it.
Silent weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Bergie, you've praised me for being observant, but I have to admit this is the first time I have noticed the spots, the battle cat color scheme. They're actually smiley faces.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the details, man, amazing.
Yes, Battle Cat color scheme. That's nice. That's I hadn't thought of that, but I love the Laser Viper head works so well with that quick kit arm. It's just like so because he looks like a ninja, right? I think anyone who's ever looked at Laser Viper thought, why does he look like a ninja? So yeah, the Team Ninja, who's he's a master of surprise parties, right? Like that's you got to think about it. Who would be the best at throwing surprise parties? Like he's the team surprise party expert. It's Sneaky Pants.
Classic. Do you want to take a stab at the past choices there, Bergs?
Well, other than it's Quick Kick torso, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, Laser Viper head.
Oh, I got the legs.
I don't know who the legs are offhand.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the legs myself.
Who had boots like that?
Put us out of our misery there.
Spirit legs.
Saying Spirit? Yeah, Spirit legs, and then arms. Those arm band. Is that a Laser Viper arms? No, I don't know who's arm that. Who's with the?
I'm gonna go Dodger. Primarily because we've seen some of Dodger's parts already, and I'm like, Dodger had the sort of irregular, I don't know, one gauntlet was one way, another the other.
I should grab. I've
cut
got
off
my
gloves.
figure guide here. I should
That's not helping.
Thumbing through, but I'm gonna call out that his waist piece is a core figure. Is that Hiro Yamato or Dragon Han? One of the kind of guys who are wearing a gi.
Wow.
You know what? You may very well be right on that. I don't even remember.
Keen eye, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Wordburglar, as I say, I missed the damn smiley faces, and that is the chef's kiss right there.
Yeah,
Wowie.
it's hard to see because in the actual video,
right,
downgraded
it does look.
It,
we've got that VHS downgrade CRT TV vibe.
Which, speaking of chef's kiss, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. In fact, I wish all kind of 80s media, anything that's kind of a callback to the past, should always letterbox it. Do it in 4:3 aspect ratio, and also get the scan lines back, get it looking and feeling like it's on a CRT.
Yeah.
And that's why I have huge praise for the artistic direction that maybe Skybound has taken with the GI Joe book, because there's definitely a little bit of that dot gain filtered on the images. I mean, we're blowing way off track here, but it is still GI Joe and it's topical. But have you guys picked up 301? You like it?
Sir.
I literally just got mine, and I haven't read it yet. I have a big
crack the spine tonight, Wordburglar.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm gonna be cracking into it. I I'm working on a little thing right now that I'm like all my waking hours go to. As you know, with kids, I've got two. I had two kids in 3 years, so it's been I
Congratulations.
work late. It's the best. It's the best, but I wind up working late at night and then falling asleep and not being able to read the newest issue of GI Joe, unfortunately. But I'll get to it.
Well,
I
once
am
again,
excited to dig in.
thank you both for taking the time to
No, man, it's the
uncork
best.
on the subject of 1984. We're in the home stretch, fellas. Let's talk a little bit about Snowpack.
Skills of Snow has abilities nobody knows. Again, I mean, I already mentioned the snow, all the snow guys are very cherished in my heart and in my Joe collection. And whenever there was a new snow guy, I was like, "There's a snow guy, I gotta get it." And there's a good trivia for you. Of the like unofficial subsets, are there the most of snow guys? I mean, I guess ninjas became an official subset with Ninja Force, right? So there were a lot of ninjas throughout the line. And there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, the water guys, the desert guys, the air guys. But I wonder who has the most, because there's more snow people than you think.
And dedicated vehicles, too. Could be into something.
They even in the later years, they leaned into, there's like wind chill and like, you're like, oh, there's, Sub-Zero.
I
like
believe,
they kind of kept coming out with snow guys.
This is something that I haven't done the research myself. This is something that Dave from Audible Interlude podcast said on one of the episodes. He said that the final vehicle produced for the Joe line was the Blockbuster, the 1994 snow. Couldn't call it a tank. It's a sort of a 6-wheel drive vehicle, but that was a snow vehicle. It came with wind chill, a version 2 wind chill in green.
Yeah.
So lots of vehicles right the way through, from the Battle Bear to the very last gasp of our beloved toy line and beyond.
I'm sure like someone's going to correct me and there's more paratroopers or there's more, but there's Sky Patrol had a subset. There was never an official snow set, and I know there was they were planning one. I think 95 there was a plan to have a snow
I'd go
subset.
Even further and say that like they were almost a distinct team on their own, separate to GI Joe, because how often did you use Snow Job or Sub-Zero or Iceberg in a jungle mission? Like they were separate and distinct to the Joes. They were Joes, but like if you were in the snow, you had a specific roster. You had Avalanche, you had Snow Job, you had Whiteout. You had those guys were all you had. Like you couldn't mix them. I certainly couldn't take a character with short sleeves in the frozen north or south. So,
Rakondo's not bringing Blizzard with him. Yeah.
They were their own thing. If you played snow, you had a very small pool or an expanding pool. I mean, the roster kept growing, but you had a very finite list of people you could use. For me,
and they were pulling guys from the other. They pulled in Stalker to become a snow guy. We're like, we want Stalker on our snow team.
He's the standalone though. Until they started doing like environment specific sets, like Stalker was the only crossover that I can think of like a regular Joe who is now set as a snow guy.
The snow guy, yeah. But, anyways, it's it's one to think about. But Snowpack, of course, anyways, 1984 needed at least one snow person. And Ozzie, Ozzie's got a great story about the paint job here.
I mean, it's. I don't know how late I was up or what was going on, but I was like, I just deep cut it. I was like, all right, and I don't even know how I thought of it, but I was like, you know what? I don't know if I saw the Rudolph Claymation show that night. I don't know, but I was like, I want to go for the Yeti, and I don't know. The Yeti was like gray and that bluish color, and he had a red tongue, and he had the teeth, and I was just like, you know what? I don't know. And just the design of his head, which I think now we're talking about. Is that Worm's head? I think.
Yeah,
I think it's Worm's head, maybe.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I was like, he already kind of had this mouth thing going. I was like, all right, I don't know. It's a stretch, I know, but I'm like, I'm going with the Yeti. So it kind of modeled after the Yeti, and it gets thrown off with the pink again. That's obviously Frostbite's fur there, But and then I'm going to lose the name of the figure. You guys can tell by the legs, I'm sure, who it is.
Fast Draw.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Great figure. Wouldn't you love to see him as a classified fast draw? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Oh, I'm sure he's coming. Everybody else is at record speed.
I know. As of today's recording, the Airborne, one of the best.
Yeah. I must say, I'm not a classified collector, but what is seriously getting me off the fence is the 3 retro collection figures that have been revealed.
Oh yeah,
Scarlet Duke and Recondo. So good. Like that, all of a sudden, aesthetically, everything clicks for me now. Classified have leaned into the classics, and I don't know, criticize me for being a purist, but like that's what I want. I just want upscalings of the classic presentation. Ain't broke, don't fix it, in my opinion.
Well,
If I had more space, I think we'd all say the same thing. If we all had more space, we'd collect it all, right? I mean, look at my background. Oh, look at what you're doing, right? There you
Sorry,
go.
no.
Oh, no, it's so good.
Look at that artwork on a soap dish. It's leather neck, because nobody says clean like leather neck. All right, kids, scrub yourself with leather neck soap. This is only the top of the soap thing. I don't know where the bottom is, but this is pretty dope. Dope soap. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No, it's
English
right.
leather.
My wife doesn't care about a GI Joe soap tray. I thought you might.
Yeah, I got BTR in the background, man. Built to
yeah.
But
That's
there's so
hardcore.
There's so much Joe stuff. You got to pick. I don't know. You got to pick and choose unless you've got room for it all, and I don't. So
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I have to be like, if I add this, either they go closer together or this comes out. So I'm with you. I'm not doing the classified, but I'll tell you what I will buy. Go ahead. Hit me with that Vietnam 6-man LERP squad. I will buy that ×2. Bring it. That's what I want to see.
Super 7 might be your way into that. But yeah, never know. So we alluded earlier to a figure who was a casualty of play. It was none other than Strike Zone. here pictured before the crotch incident.
Love Strike Zone, and Ozzie did this one for me because I live in Toronto, and my favorite baseball team's the Toronto Blue Jays, and definitely the color scheme here is a nod to the Blue Jays. And again, Strike Zone is a name that I always thought would be. I love baseball, and I always thought it'd be just the perfect name for a baseball guy on the team. You know, they've got Hardball, which is a decent code name, but Strike Zone, I was like, come on, it's perfect for the baseball themed guy. And every team again needs a sports themed guy. You know, every wave of 1984 had one sports themed guy. When they get into the highlight guy, that's a whole other thing. But
now, pardon my ignorance, but I thought the T was for TaylorMade. Like I thought he was maybe a golfer as well.
It does look like a little bit of a Titleist, doesn't it?
Oh, Titleist, that's it. Yeah.
But if you look up, if you look up, Google Toronto Maple. Not Maple Leafs, Blue Jays. I'm a hockey guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyways, look up Toronto Blue Jays, and they've had all kinds of, like they do professional sports nowadays. There's all kinds of different takes on their own uniform, but they did have a hat with that T on it. And so I was like, I probably got to go subtle. I can't put a Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know. I thought maybe it would limit what Word was doing. I don't know. But I thought I put that subtlety. You could argue that's all kinds of things. I don't know. That T is exactly how you would find it on their hat or uniform. One of those
I believe it, Ozzie. Skills, buddy.
It's beautiful. Yeah, no, and for rights, they skirted around it. Like I always wondered with Cutter's hat, did Hasbro have the rights to use the Boston Red Sox hat, or is it just slightly altered? I don't know.
It was the 80s, man.
Yeah, I think so.
The only people who paid attention to toy companies were other toy companies, which is why Hasbro sued Leonard's ass. But I don't know if the Sox would be interested in a Rhode Island-based, I don't know. They made, Mr. Potato Man? We don't care.
I don't know much about that lawsuit because the Corps kept going, but were they just not allowed to have... Is that why the Corps got all crazy in neon? or something? Oh,
No, the core was initially going to be called Gung Ho. In fact, there are carded Gung Ho samples in existence. Hasbro sued them because they were like, this is one of our key characters. So Leonard pivoted to calling them the core, exclamation point, international heroes. And they also, I think Leonard also got heat for using a Hummer, which was very, very closely modeled after the General Motors Humvee. So that mold is now in short supply. Like it's, yeah, if you've got one, it might be worth more than your bog standard Jeep.
that's funny. Well, and I heard that the new Transformers, they can't look like real cars. Whereas in the 80s, you'd look at them and you're like, okay, that's a Mack truck, that's a Toyota, that's a Porsche, that's a Lamborghini. But now, because they're worried about getting sued by these companies,
Unless they
oh,
pay
look,
the
that guy
rent.
looks like a Subaru. It's like Subaru's suing Hasbro, right? So it's an interesting
Expensive
thing.
game. I mean, they still do a few crossovers, but I guess it's a paid for license. Like, there's a recent Optimus Prime that transformed into a Volvo truck.
Yeah, that must be an official partnership, right? I mean, it's a great. If you're
Oh,
a car
Volvo's
company,
all over the
you want
box.
that. Yeah, like great way to get kids to know, what your car,
Michael Bay did great things for Camaro. But
yeah.
let's keep on trucking into unregistered territory with Unregistered Nurse. Reggie, what is the
Unregistered nurse.
inspiration here?
Well, the idea for the character, I just thought the name was funny, and I actually wrote a comic book pitch a million years ago to
Of
do
course.
a whole comic about unregistered nurse, and she was just like a nurse who was just like off the grid. She'd like gotten fed up with the healthcare system. This was years ago, and she was like unregistered nurse, and I just thought it was kind of a funny idea and just a great code name and yeah, again, the team they need a medic, and you've got, this, so unregistered nurse fills the gap. And I love the paint scheme here, Ozzie, on this. And, I'm sure many people will recognize the head sculpt at least.
So the paint scheme, we got an homage to another Joe figure here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Also in the medical field.
That's right.
Yeah.
Stretcher.
Very good.
Yeah, so right down to the gray, green, the yellow on the gun, just throwing those colors at you, and just like Strike Zone, got the batting gloves on here, pink, I guess, just representing the team. No other reason. But yeah, Cover Girl went all black hair here for this one, but yeah,
it's great. I love the.
We round out with Wildlife.
Yeah.
Does not talk. Another mute character on the squad.
Raised at a zoo and talks to animals like talking to you. Which, in the video, it's like they cut to the kid, and like Sandy did such a great job directing it. Big shouts to Sandy. And yeah, like Wildlife is just sort of to me like a funny. You need an animal expert, and so he's an expert in all animals, and he can talk to them. And hey, if this is a cartoon in 1985, you're buying this. You're into that. I'm like, yeah, he talks to everybody, and he comes with like all kinds of crazy animals. Yeah, Wildlife. And side note, shout out Sandy, who is such he's an incredible director. He's also an actor and writer and comedian, and he's in Harold and Kumar. I was telling somebody recently. If you've ever seen that movie, Harold and Kumar, yeah, he plays the cop who stops him. He's got like the mustache and everything. He's like, NPH wouldn't do that. And I think he coined, it was the first time I'd ever heard anyone call Neil Patrick Harris NPH. And now it's like a thing. So I don't know if he coined that or not, but yeah, he's a super funny dude. But yeah, big shout out to Sandy and everyone who worked on the video. But Wildlife, please, Ozzie.
Sure. So no homages necessarily here. Just what was just some fun colors, going with the dark reds and blue and green and he's got the pink headband going on here as well. But Yeah, just having some fun, trying to get those lines as clean as I can. I had a parrot, but in hindsight, if I had more time, I think I would look for something crazy. Like I don't know, going to Target, look for an aardvark or something silly. Just some kind of
Again,
animal.
wave 2, like he just keeps getting re-released with a different animal every wave. It's like the exact same figure. It's like, well, now you got to get him because he comes with a cat.
Exactly.
What's fun about wildlife specifically is you included a unpainted build.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a great work in progress.
So now you can see pretty much what we got there, right? We got Xandar, and Muskrat, and Outback, right?
Outback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're missing
Goes
one
to show
more.
what a little bit of paint does. I mean, it's it's something new, and it all comes together so sweetly, like matching the paint tones, particularly the flesh tone. Ozzie, props with that, man. That was expertly done. Like flesh is a tough nut to crack. I'm no customizer, but I know enough to know that that's mixing it just right and getting it applied as smoothly as that. Yeah, it takes patience.
Thank you, man.
So
I
good.
appreciate that. Yeah. Now we got one more. You know that, Steve.
Oh, did I miss something? Oh dear.
You missed one. It was in the seas.
Gosh.
He's the robot with the TV face, man.
Oh my word! I think StreamYard did a funny thing. I've got a group shot, but let's find him. Sorry guys.
That's all
No,
right.
maybe
how the sausage is made.
I sent you a
It
big
was weird,
batch
like
of pictures.
Yeah, I definitely have it. Definitely have it.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. It's all good.
Oh gosh.
Go watch the video. Go see him there.
Exactly.
You missing Coin Op?
Coin Op. Fun fact about Coin Op. I don't know if you caught this, Ozzie. There is. Look, the team robot with the TV face. Pixel Dan, shout out Pixel Dan, who is another YouTuber into action figures. I'm sure some of you may know. When he first saw 1984, he was like, I love Coin Op. I want a Coin Op action figure. Like, he was really into that. That was like the first day the video came out, and it was like a call out. And then a lot of people were also saying they love this Coin Op. And I was like, yeah, it's such a brilliant design. The way you put the TV screen on the helmet, and it just like, it's again, like the idea is just, every 80s team had a robot just around. Whether it was Fantastic Four or Transformers had robots. I think they had a few. But yeah, Ozzie, what's the story here?
Yeah, so like you said, we were talking. It's like, oh, he's a robot with a TV face. And I remember when we were first talking, I was like, okay. So I was like, we're like, all right. And I'm trying to think, can I find a little TV like robot? No, excuse me, it's the TV, and like, boom, slamming on his shoulders, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man. And then exactly. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe it would be late at night when TV wasn't working back in the day, after the national anthem or whatever, you'd see that screen. Or really, it's also a call out to the emergency broadcast, I guess, screen also, right? So that's kind of what I went with. And then I was like, what are we going to do for the robot? And then I don't know what I was looking at, but I was inspired by Pyramid of Darkness. It's the water robots underneath. When those, I forget when those little snake deals were coming out of the little funnel tunnels there or whatever. Anyway.
The fluke worms, I believe.
Thank you very much. That's what I was going for.
Actually, yes, the fluke worms.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's that water robot color. I was like, all right, just do the yellow, the light blue and the dark blues. And yeah, that was kind of the nod to Pyramid of Darkness there. He's got a pink knife on the side, so he's still there.
Oh, he does. Well, nothing says 1980s or old school hits you in the feels like color bars. So clearly, it was all by design, guys. I saved the best for last. This guy is awesome. You see what Pixel Dan spawned him. He's yeah, man. You can almost hear that picture. That
it's just.
They had them at the beginning of VHS tapes as well, as I recall. Yeah, I suppose to set your color adjustments before the feature started playing. Well, I mean, didn't they have they jammed trailers at the beginning of VHS cassettes as well?
They
Yeah.
did, yeah. I'm
Mm.
right. It just takes you back and just
Makes
yeah,
me want to
a
spin
perfect
Rental
thing.
Patient right about now.
Oh
Right.
man,
Fergie, you got us
there you
covered,
go.
man.
That's right. That's right. Well, if you liked it back then, it's probably still cool. So that's what we do. And thanks so much for doing this. And anybody who has tuned in and watched all this, like it's so fun to relive this and like look at like Ozzy's stuff is crazy. Like Ozzy, I know you post your customs on Instagram and on you have on his tank.
Yeah.
I want everybody to go check out Ozzy's work because there's so much great stuff and all your modern era stuff. And you should repost that Dana because as soon as you mentioned that, it's like, oh man, when you did that figure, it was so perfect. Like, you're talking about Super 7. That would be a great figure for them to do. That Sunbow Dana figure in an
Well, and
O-ring
I
would be
think they
so
actually
cool.
are in the reaction series. They've got Dana coming up next. I'm assuming it's a Sunbow version of her.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. But
the
that's
reaction
going to be
one.
reaction. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
No,
with the
I
new
play with
O-ring
GI
line, so
Joes,
Mhm.
not Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I hear you. Ah,
it's coming.
God,
It's
where am I at?
coming,
I
Word.
play with
I
Star
know.
Wars.
I love Star Wars. Look,
Me
Star
too.
Wars, the core four, man. Star Wars, GI Joe, Transformers, and He-Man. That's like and then Ninja Turtles snuck in to round it out for five
I'm
for me. But
I'm curious though, Word. You say you're a busy man. Have you had your ear to the ground in terms of the latest big news from Super 7?
well, the
Or is this going
O-ring
to come
line,
as
right?
yeah?
I did. Yeah, I did hear about the O-ring line. Yes, I'm like,
It's
that's just
happening.
this week,
So
right?
yeah,
Have they
it's all on the
announced
table
who's in
now.
it? Yeah,
No,
it's
I
it's
imagine knowing Super 7, they're going to keep that pretty close to the chest. But this time next year, we will know. They might even be in hand.
hey, like I love their stuff. I haven't bought the React figures, like, jokes aside, because I prefer the O-rings in that scale, and I love what they're doing. I almost got the Raven figure. I love the Blind Woodsman they did. Like doing Raven was like an inspired choice. Like stuff like that gets me excited. I've got the Ultimate Cobra Commander that they did, which is one of my favorite Cobra Commanders. I mean, he looks like from the movie, right? And it's better in hand. Like this is a great figure. So I got a lot of love for Super 7. The price point on him was a little steep, especially in Canada where they ding you with the
Hmm.
extra charges. But I love this figure, and so I'm really excited to see what they do with O-ring because clearly they've got heart for it, and I think they're like looking to do stuff like they did those laser troopers from Pyramid of Darkness, right? Like that. I always thought that was a cool design, and I always wanted that figure. And anyways, yeah, we could go on talking about that, but I'm very excited for O-rings. I've got Strike Force Alpha figures. I got my shipping notice today. Call sign Longbow's coming up. Operation Recall, of course, is
Recall,
coming up. Delta
Sportsman.
17, or what's Delta? Is it Delta 13? Delta 17?
yeah, Delta
That
17. Hmm.
yeah, that line looks incredible. Like the O-rings, I feel like 2024 is going to be the return of the O-rings. And so if anybody listening wants to make 1984s, call me and Ozzy. We'll we'll make this happen. I'm just trying to get a Rap Viper O-ring at some point. That's maybe Super 7 will listen to that. But
Right.
Call
yeah,
this man. Call him.
yeah.
Strike up a deal. I will buy that figure. I'll army build that figure.
For
All
sure.
right. Well, I am going to include links in the description to your work, Ozzy. Is it over on his tank? Cool. I'll
Instagram
chase that up
especially.
with you afterwards. Bergie, best place to find your music is Bandcamp, correct?
Bandcamp's the best, but it is on however you listen to music. I'm just happy if you want to listen to my stuff. So whatever works for you, whatever you're streaming on, my stuff should be there. And or if you're playing physical, we got CDs and records. So, but yeah,
Records,
huge shout
yes.
outs to you and the team at GI Joburg and everybody listening and the whole community. I mean, it's just like it's great. I mean, Ozzy and I met through the community. Steve, we met through the community. Like it's just great to see everybody doing all this awesome stuff, and it does feel like we're in this new Renaissance era once again, going into the 60th anniversary. So it's pretty exciting. And, I'm cooking up a few new things for next year in honor of the 60th anniversary as well. So that'll be cool. And yeah.
I was about to ask for a little peek behind the curtain, but no, I guess I'll find out in due course. Are you working on any music videos from Spinner Rack?
From Spinner Rack, no videos right now immediately, but I'm working on a few things cooking up. I'll give you a tease. This is a hint.
Mercer V2. Interesting.
A couple of projects. This is like some research I'm doing right now. So just playing with it, getting in the head. Yeah, just like let's let that. Maybe 2024. We'll see. There might be something about Mercer, and there might be some other stuff. But I'm excited. So we'll keep you posted. I guess it's announced. I'm working on a sequel to Cobra Island, so that's coming out. So hopefully next year it's coming out. Like I was like, I think I announced it somewhere, so I don't know why I'm being.
It's
silly,
out,
but I'm working on it. It's going to be same thing, like going to be out free for anybody who wants to download it. And it's not.
Come on,
it's
you
not
got to
ready
press a
yet.
vinyl. I want a vinyl.
It's not ready yet. I think Ozzie, you might have heard one or two. I feel like I might have sent you a sample of it. But yeah, there's a bunch of tracks. It's tentatively called Revenge of Cobra Island. And I'm really excited. And hopefully when it's closer to coming out, we can talk again. But because there's a lot more that I wanted to do after Welcome to Cobra Island. And it's still super fun. And, I'm pretty excited about it. So,
Well, the community is supporting you all the way, Bergie. Thank you, my man.
Well,
you
it's
are
fun and
unofficially our voice. You're our muse. You're our guy. You're the deepest cuts. I mean, nobody knows GI Joe and has the ability to spit it like you, man.
Well, I just love playing with my toys on the mic, so that's just fun to do, and it's awesome when other people can pick up some references from it. It's the
lore is strong with this man.
I'm rapping to my wife about Voltar, and she's like, "What? Just go in there and rap about it."
The nice color scheme. Sorry, I'm sending your wife up there. All right, guys. I'll let you guys get on with your evening. Thank you so much once again for giving so generously of your time. The stories are great. Everybody watching this, go check out Bandcap. Go check out his tank. Do the things. Do all the things. Support community. And the stuff is awesome. Why wouldn't you? I guess with that said and done. Joburg.
Yes.
Later.